Hi, I'm Vidongna. You can call me Na if you want because my first name is hard to pronounce it. I'm a bit shorter than the average Korean guy, and I have a round shaped face. I have a lot of hair in my head, and my hair is very thick as well. I also have small eyes and nose and mouth. And I think my feet is also smaller than the average guy in Korea. Uh, I'm personally, I like to go to swim, and I swim quite a long time, like more than 15 years since I was in graduate school. So now I'm very fond of swimming because it make me chilling and relaxing, and actually it is good for my mental and physical health as well. So I had it had to swim every day after work, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's my everyday routine during weekdays. I also go to swim even on weekend, but that depends on my schedule. So, and yeah, that's all of my short introduction. Nice to meet you. In Korea, we have very strict policy for recycling. Like we separated plastic, papers, cans, bottles, glass bottles, I mean, in a different way. And we try to reuse the uh, recycled items as much as possible because our nation is kind of a smaller country. Our country is smaller than the other country like US, so we don't have much space to just bury the garbage on the ground, and actually it is quite helpful for environment. And I think in my opinion, actually, it is a kind of ec- ecologically right movement toward for our future generations. So people are Korean. Even nowadays, they try to reduce the use of plastic bags, and you they try to reduce the plastics itself. Like, for example, people are bringing their tumblers to get some drink from cafe, or you go to supermarket, you bring some your own bag, reusable bag. Yeah, so you don't need any plastic bag from, yeah, supermarket, something like that. I think that kind of movement would helpful for our nation, our country clean. So, my apartment building has a policy that recycling on the designated day of the week. It is from Tuesday to Wednesday, but I only have a chance to do recycling on Tuesday night because uh, they the period is ended, and the period is uh, just until the afternoon morning of on the Wednesday. So Before I go to before Tuesday, I put my recycled items on the specific area in my house, which is hiding, and we do not see that directly. And I try to separate papers and the others because papers get wet if we mix up all together. So I think it is less convenient to do recycling when Tuesday comes. And I use I use two different bags of recycling items. One is for papers, the other is for others, like plastic cans, and glass bottles. So usually I do recycle myself by myself, but sometimes my wife helped me. It was quite a cold day during the winter season, like months ago. So in this winter, actually, in this winter, there were many colder days than usual, uh, and that day actually was the coldest day in the winter, and I had to do recycle because my apartment has a designated recycling day, so I had no other choice that that so even though I feel a bit freezing, I wear some thick sweater and upbeat outdoors to prevent me from cold. But still, my hand is too chilly. My hand is freezing. I forgot to bring my gloves. So during the recycling, it was quite difficult to make separate the recycling items into designated place. So it took a bit longer time than usual because I need to warm up my hands by putting the putting my hands in the pocket of the outers for a while and waiting for warming up my hands. Eventually, I succeeded to do the recycle, and, but it was quite a terrible experience. Tomorrow is one of our national holiday called Independence Day. Well, it is not literally Independence Day, but it is the meaning of the meaning is related to independence because we resisted to the Japanese rulers in 1910, uh, March the 1st. So there was a big demonstration against brutal uh, brutal invaders, and Korean people do not accept the Japanese as a ruler, and they also want to show how they how much they want to be independent from the invaders. So there were lots of crowded people gathered together, and some famous leaders uh, gave some speech in front of the crowds, and that's kind of memorable. That would be very memorable moment if I see that scene in on site. And actually, that affects a lot in our history. Like we have such kind of nationality, maybe in our blood. We resist some bad or in something that is not acceptable. I'll tell you a funny story about my holiday in childhood. It was a Children's Day, and my family had a great time in a park near our place called Children's Park. Children's Park is very famous for Seoul citizens, and especially it is you can imagine that the from the name it is designated for children. So we had a great time in there, and there was a small area that just have nothing but just ground. But the problem was I have a toy, and yeah, ran around the along the ground, but there was a small invisible line of fence. So I didn't see the fence, and suddenly I stuck in the line. So I fell down, and my parents was very surprised where if I or I if I was wounded or not. So it was quite memorable moment for me because it happens without any notice in advance, and actually I feel a bit shame at the beginning, but I fortunately I don't have had any damage from the accident, so that was lucky, I guess. I spent this holiday to learning English. That's quite special because, well, usually I spend my holiday just having relaxing. For example, go to a trip or another country or other city and stay there for several days and escaping normal life. But in this time, actually, I practice English for several days during my using my back holidays. Well, at first, it's kind of not that funny and not that fun, but I actually found that it is quite interesting to improve my English skill, especially using some kind of online tutoring system. I found a website called Amazing Talker, and I found there are many extremely prepared tutors over there from worldwide, and I can make schedule like whenever I want according to their available time slots. So it is very convenient, and it is very well made platform, I guess. So I tried several trial sessions at first, but after the set of trial session, and I choose two of them as the tutor that I want to continue the English lessons. So one they are all from US. They live in one live in US, one the other one lives in Thailand. So I have two different time zone options, and I'll make appointment according to their time slots. I like to watch thriller movie the most because I love to uh, imagine how the plot goes and think about the last scene before I saw it. Well, it's kind of difficult to imagine that, but sometimes I guess the result. So in that case, actually, I feel kind of very proud of myself, how clever I am, and I also like to see some musical movie. Maybe I like soundtracks in movie very much. Like for example, I like what was the name? Remy Miserable, and their soundtrack is really nice. And I once I saw the movie, and then I play the soundtrack while I driving or moving somewhere. So I keep listening to the soundtrack for a while after I watch that kind of movie. Recently, I saw a movie called The First Slam Dunk, and their soundtrack is also very exciting and intuitive. So it makes me a lot of energy from listening to their soundtrack. So I highly recommend you to see the animation if you like some kind of sports movie. The last movie I saw was Slam Dunk, the first Slam Dunk on an animation produced by Japanese animator and also anime artist. Anime artist. It is about the story about an underdog team in the high school league, and the main characters are belongs to the underdog team, and it shows kind of growth of the underdog teams during the summer season. And what I liked the most was the soundtrack. The soundtrack is really extremely by extremely good, and actually the main character itself is one of my fond of. I love him since I was in a child because the animation was originally based on the uh, cartoon published in 1996 or somewhere in somewhere similar then. And I love the story of the main character because he's newbie for the basketball, but he made a lot of effort uh, to become a good basketball player. Uh, that is kind of because he has a good physical ability, but I like that effort very much. So last time I went to theater with my wife to see the movie. Before we saw the movie, we need we had some trouble actually because we'd like to pay by some coupon given from my younger brother, which is issued like 2 years ago, I guess. Yeah, we haven't been theater because of the because because we are afraid of being affected COVID-19 coronavirus in theater. But nowadays, actually, restriction are mostly lifted, and indoor facial mask is not mandatory anymore. So we decided to go to theater finally, and saw the movie. The problem was we are already about 40, and there are many changes during several years. Like we need to use kiosks to issue to order the ticket instead of asking someone in the movie theater. So it was quite confusing at the beginning, but we finally found that how to make it, how to use the coupon in the kiosk. And yeah, it was quite a memorable experience that I have recently. Hi Jane, how are you? Uh, I'd like to go to the beach on this weekend, so will you join me? Yes, I'll bring my car, so you don't worry about the transportation. Yes, maybe we can swim, but I'm not sure it is possible because the weather is not too hot for swimming. I think we'll just have some fun in cafe or or visit some restaurant for yes. Maybe that would be better. I mean, I like sashimi very much, and yeah, there I know there is a restaurant near the beach, so I can make a reservation before we go. Perfect. I'd love to. Then when the so what time do you prefer to meet? I prefer to meet in the early morning because I hate it. I hate traffic jam. And I guess many people will be there if we start after 8 a.m. So how about 6 a.m. then? Uh, is that too early? Or how about 6:30 then? That's fine. Okay, then let's meet at 6:30 in your place. All right, see you then. Bye. Hi Jane, how are you? Have you heard about the weather news? Yeah, the weather will be very bad in this weekend. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, I think we need to change our schedule or something. What's your opinion? You don't want to go there if the weather is bad. I agree with that actually. We'd like to enjoy the beautiful scenery instead of uh, so why don't we just take a rest in other place, like we can hang out on the bar. Yes, I love beer, I recently visited a good place for They serve really nice craft beers, and I know you are not drinking alcohols, but they also provide some. They also serve non-alcoholic craft beer. You must like it. I know it. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that sounds great. Okay then. We'll meet 5 p.m. maybe. Is that too early? Then we go to have something before go to the bar. Like I also know some good restaurant near the place, and that is famous for the pork. They serve some kind of grilled pork with vegetable. It was really nice. Yes, that sounds great. All right, then let's meet at 5 p.m. this Saturday and see you then. Bye. When I visited Malaysia for scuba diving, I there were not many people there, but there was a fire show, some performance that using fires, like the performers or the performer was shaking, uh, swinging some can filled with some fire in the can and swinging in around. So I feel like it's kind of dangerous because I felt the heat from the fire in a very close distance, but they seems okay. Like they are much closer than me, but they looks like okay. But the event was happened like they made a mistake during their performance, like they missed their grab, and the fire can is throwing through into the crowd near the near the performance. So that makes kind of disaster. Like people are just screaming, and everyone was checking who is damaged. Fortunately, nobody was damaged because there were not many people over there. But it was quite a dangerous moment that really bad accident could be happen. Oh, well, I have many problems in my home, and one of the problem is actually the relationship problem between my wife. Uh, well, I think it is different from the way we deal with the conflict is different from my parents. We talk to each other and mm, have a conversation as rationally as possible instead of both to each other. Unlike our parents is kind of very hot-tempered people, and they fight each other like like very angry person when they fight. I don't think it's kind of suitable for me and my wife, but I respect their own style. Like they can live in their own style. Like they have been living their own style for more than 30 years. So I don't have any right to change their style or whatever. I'm making my relationship with my wife, and I try to make the relationship in a different way. So we also go to couple counseling as well. When it comes to the conflicts is too heavy or difficult to solve by ourselves. In Korea, we have some special ways to rent a house, especially for apartment. We deposit a huge amount of money to the landlord, and pay nothing except the deposit. So it is called 전세. I don't know how can translate it in English, but it's basically no monthly fee, but very big, very huge amount of deposit. So it makes actually a lot of trouble. Like it is very complicated when it comes to there is a loan in a mortgage loan about for the house. So the rule is actually the first come first one. First one comes the one someone make a right in the first way. So anyway, the bank is has for sometimes bank has higher priority than the use the user who rent the house. So sometimes the deposit cannot be returned from the landlord. For that is actually that was kind of going around. That issue went around recently in Korea.